everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is new release review where I'm going to be talking about Moonfall, written and directed by Roland Emmerich, starring Patrick Wilson and Halle Berry. Now, it's been a while since we've had a great disaster movie out in theaters, and we're still waiting because unfortunately Moonfall just did not make the cut. So the basic plot synopsis, the very basic plot of this movie: the moon is falling. For some reason, for some circumstances going on, the moon is off its axis and it's throttling its way towards Earth. And our only hope of survival is Patrick Wilson and Halle Berry that do play NASA astronauts. They got to come up with a solution to save the planet. That's it. That is the basic plot line. So before I get into any negatives about this film, I will say the positive first because I don't want to start off with negative. Let's say something positive. And I do want to know your thoughts about this movie down below in the comments and your reasoning as to why maybe you enjoyed this film or maybe you did not enjoy it like I did. So let me know. This is my opinion only. What matters is if you enjoyed the movie, you enjoyed it. That is the thing that matters most. So let's get into the positive. What was positive? The originality of the idea. I can always appreciate an original idea and an original script because everything these days, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, is either a prequel, a sequel, a franchise that we've seen already a billion times. There's comic book movies, and don't get me wrong, I love my comic book movies. But unfortunately, they're really the only films that dominate the box office these days, and original films really don't get featured that much at the box office. They may make just a little bit of money and then they tend to drop off fairly quickly. Now, when Moonfall came out in theaters, opening weekend, it only made $10 million and went down from there. So it was a box office failure. Now, I am going to get into more of the negative aspects. I believe the one big negative aspect is the weak script. This script, I am surprised because Roland Emmerich, and there were a couple of other co-writers, it wasn't just him writing this film. I believe there were two other people. I just cannot remember their names. I'm sorry. But I'm surprised at the weak script because I know Roland Emmerich has been around for a little bit, and it just seems like he should be putting out better content. I'm just really surprised. Now, I'm not really familiar with his entire filmography of everything that he's done, but this is just really disappointing. It's very basic dialogue, extremely cheesy with the taglines and just random sayings. And you would think, I'm guessing in his mind, he thought, wow, this is going to be a great moment in the script, but it just did not come off that way. It just came off very cheesy, Velveeta, not even in a good way. Velveeta in a bad way, which is really difficult to achieve, but he did it in this movie. So I'm just really surprised at the weak script overall. Now let's move on to another aspect. I will say, before I get into the other negative aspect, I was going with this movie for about the first hour. The first hour, we were diagnosing the problem, figuring it out. What are we going to do? But then what was introduced in the first act became the problem in the second half of the film. And what I mean by this, too many characters. There was way too many characters that we were supposed to care about and be invested in. And that was the main issue for me personally. I'm curious to see if you guys felt the same way. Because when we do get to the second half of the film, it's all about trying to figure out what we're doing. The astronauts, Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, the conspiracy theorists, they're going to go up into space to the moon. They're going to try to figure out, how are we going to deal with this? What are we going to do? Well, they shared that screen time with those three main actors with the supporting characters that were introduced to us in the first half of the film. I didn't care. I did not care about them because honestly, they were not being utilized to the full extent of the movie to make it work. And what I mean by this is that they just weren't involved. They were pretty much just running away to Colorado to get to the highest peak possible. And that's it. If they were getting involved somehow, if meteors were crashing into them, if they were caught in the flood, then I would care. Then I would be more invested in their fate and in their circumstance. But because that was not happening, I didn't care if a tree fell on them. I didn't care if they ran out of oxygen, which did happen to one of the characters. I'm not going to say who. But it was just a lot of people. So the people that I mean are Halle Berry's ex-husband and son and nanny, a nanny. Then we have Patrick Wilson's ex-wife, their son, and then her new husband and their two daughters. There was just too many characters. And then all the other supporting characters that were going on. I mean, they really weren't the focus. The two families were the focus. But I thought that just really drew away the point of the second half of the movie, because you really should just be focused on Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson and the third guy, where they're going to figure out how we're going to save the planet. And it just felt like a cop-out. It felt like they ran out of ideas with that part of figuring out how we're going to save the moon and save the Earth. And they just lumped in this stupid family angle that we just all just did not care about. So because of that, the second half of the movie, that's where the disappointment lies, because you want me to care about these people that I honestly have no connection with, and I could care less about because they're not involved. They're really just running away. Nothing is killing them. Nothing is attacking them for me to be attached, if you know what I'm saying. That might have been a little bit complicated, but I hope I explained it pretty well. So, I mean, other than that, a disaster movie, you're supposed to be able to shut your brain off and eat your snack and your popcorn and just really enjoy it for what it is, because you kind of do want to see the Earth destroyed just a little bit. That's kind of the fun part of a disaster film, to see how far they're going to go. But everything in this movie wrapped up pretty quickly and pretty nicely. They put a bow on it and it's like, oh, okay, we're saved. Everything's fine. The moon is fine and everything's all good. And I don't know. It just seemed it's very unrealistic. And I know it's unrealistic, but everything that was going on, it was like a light switch. It was like, okay, everything's on. Now it's off. It just didn't make sense. The entire thing was just it was a cluster. Boop. At the very end. That's all I'm going to say. And at the very end, it kind of left a door to open for a sequel. So I'm really hoping that they keep that door shut, because with Moonfall, you do not need a sequel. Let's just let it lie and never revisit the moon ever again. So overall, do I recommend that you pick up this title on physical media? No, I do not. And if you are very adamant about picking it up, please do indeed wait for a sale. Now, I know, I'm a hypocrite. I bought the Steelbook, but the Steelbook looked pretty cool, and that's what I will show you right now. Okay, here is the Steelbook. There is also the Target lenticular, which I saw, which looks pretty amazing. What I will give Lionsgate credit for is that every single format looks different. So Blu-ray has a different kind of slipcover. 4K has a different slipcover. They're all very nice looking. But do I want you to run out and buy this right away? No, I do not. You can definitely wait for a sale. Probably Black Friday would be a very good time, because I can't imagine this one going on sale, 4K and Blu-ray, for Black Friday. So keep that in mind. But if you're adamant about adding another disaster film to your collection, go with the Steelbook, because it's very nice looking. All right, so here is the Steelbook with the slipcover. It does say Moonfall, the title of the movie, onto the side. And there is the back of the slipcover, just so you know, because this does come off and they are not on the back of the actual Steelbook. There's the spine, just to let you know. There is the front. It's kind of like an evil face, if you could see that on the moon. And there is the back. There's the back of the Steelbook. And then I will show you the inside. There we go. So that's the inside artwork of the Steelbook. And then as far as bonus features go, there is an audio commentary, I believe, with the director and some producers or something. There is a behind the scenes making of the film, and then also some documentaries about the moon, past, present, and future. So that is my quick opinion about Moonfall. It's one of those movies you really want to satisfy your thirst, but it just does not get there, and you're still thirsty. You want a good disaster film. What is it going to take? I don't know. I hope one comes along very soon. So let me know down below. Again, did you enjoy Moonfall? Don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you next time.